Teddy Feinberg, Brook Stockburger, Teddy and Brook show. Just a caveat, this is our last scheduled Teddy and Brook show, but we will be coming on throughout the summer to discuss big events still, and of course in the fall we'll pick things back up, and if the Aggie baseball team continues to advance in the NCAA tournament, we would consider that a big event. Brook, let's start there. NCAA Regional Aggie baseball, they got in. They're a number 2 seed, playing in Tucson. They play Louisville, Missouri, and the University of Arizona.
I was actually sort of surprised by it. I'm happy for them, but I thought the way they went out in the postseason, with not even a win, that really put them on the bubble, and I would not have been surprised, I thought, if they didn't even make it. But they not only make it, they make it as a 2 seed in their region. So very happy for that, very happy for the team. And NCAA must have saw something in them.
Well, I think clearly what they did see was a challenging early season schedule where they were successful. I mean, the Aggies didn't get in because of how they ended the year. The last month of the season, they tailed off pretty dramatically. When we talked about, they lost 9 of 10, and they didn't even perform at all in the WAC tournament. Very disappointing performance there. But early in the year, they swept the University of Arizona, who's the number 5 seed. They had a quality road win at Texas Tech. They swept Sacred Heart here, who actually is a tournament team. Took 2 from Kent State, who's a tournament team. 1 in Minnesota. There was some good. Played Rice very tough there. So they had a good early season, and that contributed to their body of work.
They didn't duck people in the schedule. I had Baylor on as well. And that just shows the NCAA has given them respect. And that's the thing with college baseball. If you're a smaller program or seen as a smaller program, at least not as high profile as a program, you got to build up that you have to politic, you have to win, you have to do it several years in a row, and it shows that Aggies have maybe made that step.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting too is that the Aggies did have that early season success. We talked about their RPI hit a certain point where it really didn't drop. I mean, even as poor as they played down the stretch of their season, and at the end of the WAC tournament, they still were top 35 RPI. They were a bubble team, but they got in, and then the question is, were they even a bubble team? They're number 2, so.
So good luck to them. This is exciting.
Do you think there's any truth to maybe getting a new lease on life can breathe life into their season? They haven't been playing well. It seems like there's something going on there with chemistry, and they have been performing well. But do you think maybe this will lighten some pressure and they could step up their game?
I really do. I'm a believer in that as far as like regaining momentum, getting a little, like you said, get a new breath. They have a moment off. They still get the at-large bid. They get in, boom. You got to be a little careful, though, because they needed to do well in the WAC tournament, and they just went out there and laid an egg. So, but I think they're going to be a new team. They feel rejuvenated.
Not an easy regional when you consider Arizona won the regular season Pac-12 championship, Louisville won their conference championship in the regular season, and Missouri was a tournament. I mean, they won their conference tournament championship. So it's really all conference champions.
Yeah, it is.
It's not going to be an easy region. This is a good segue, I guess, Brook, because, we've been doing this show all year. I think it's been just an absolute raging success. But looking back on the year, what stands out?
Oh, wow. What stands out? High school football continues to pound right along, but again, didn't get a title this year. Yeah. Mayfield falls short to Cleveland in the championship game. But there continues to be dominance down here in high school football. I know it doesn't help the guys who lost, last November, 1st of December, but it continues to show how dominant Southern New Mexico high school football is.
Well, it will be interesting, obviously, spinning forward a new high schools coming in Centennial. I mean, this is going to be kind of like an NBA expansion. The Charlotte Bobcats come into the league and everyone's scoring 70 points a game.
Well, that's so hard to say, but it will dilute the other schools some too, and will that hurt them on the statewide? Who knows? It's hard to say, but I think Mayfield and Cruces will continue to be very successful programs. Cruces, their JVs and their freshman teams have been winning well. Oñate's JVs and freshman teams have been starting to do well. So we might, who knows? Maybe they won't even miss a beat. Maybe there'll be 4 competitive teams.
I think the first few years, I think Mayfield and Cruces won't miss a beat. Maybe 5, 6 years into the process, you will see it really start to dig in. First couple of years, it won't be a huge deal. But again, over a duration of a couple of years, it could be. I do want to point out Gadsden volleyball winning back-to-back state championships. They won again in 2012. That's a really big deal for Gadsden High School. And, of course, high school basketball, Mesilla Valley made to the title game. They lost. Cruces High was the number 1 seed. They lost fairly early in the tournament. And I do think in terms of Aggie sports, it's been ironic in a bad way because they haven't had a bad year in sports. Women's basketball was down. Softball didn't have a good year. Outside of that, football was improved. They made it to the NCAA tournament in basketball and baseball. lo and behold, they're still in limbo in terms of a future conference. It's just odd.
That is the story of you can have all the success in the world, but you end up independent at this point, especially as a New Mexico State, you're in trouble. Yeah, there's just no other way to say it. So maybe if they go independent, they're going to have to do it for a couple years until they can settle into a new league. Maybe the Sun Belt will invite them to expand again. Maybe they'll get into the Mountain West at some point. But it's got to be a very scary situation at the top.
Well, I think also what it shows is that you can be successful in baseball and basketball. You can be good in, you can finish top 3 in the WAC Commissioners Cup again, and really it doesn't matter. I mean, you got to be good in football.
Football's the...
You got to create a market, and you need to create money and resources. Yep. That's what these conferences are looking for. We can talk all day about the WAC Commissioners Cup. Actually, I tip my hat to NMSU because they found a way to get more with less. Yeah. I really tip my hat to their coaches. You know what? The Aggie coaches get more with less. Some take heat, some take criticism. Let's erase the slate. They get more with less. It's more than that.
Yeah, it's been very successful. We've had a great volleyball program here for a long number of years. It's just, look at the baseball team now, what they're doing. It's just, there is, sometimes people look at football and think, oh, NMSU, but there's a lot of winners here at NMSU, and football has shown steps of going in the right direction. This year will tell a lot. They need to get on that, winning side of the equation this fall, but yeah, football's the tail that wags the dog, to use that tired expression.
It's just disappointing because the Aggies, while they've been competitive on the field, they haven't done enough away from the field to make themselves more attractive, bottom line. Folks, thanks for joining us as always. Facebook, Twitter, lcsun-news.com all day, every day. I do also want to point this out. I talked about Jan Gomes last week in my fantasy baseball segment. He got sent down to the minor leagues the other day. Folks, have a great week. Have a great summer.
Yeah, but still check in. We'll be around.
Bye.